Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right of people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Hey, y'all, it's Mamaw. I'm still not on the porch because now it's kind of snowing, kind of raining, and really looking crappy outside right now. It is February 26th, and I've just got a few things to talk over with you. So we will get that going here as quick as a minute. And here we go. So, the viewership for the State of the Union, surprise, surprise, was dramatically under by millions. Well, no crap, Dick Tracy. We're all tired of listening to the same old stuff from the same old fool. So anyway, their viewership was way, way down. So good for all of us. Now the big story. Per NPR, the Midas Touch, MS Now, the New York Times, and now the Wall Street Journal, Tacos paper. Bondi, it appears, has lied. Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie are filing to have her brought back in to see if she did lie to Congress. She may be getting her butt impeached, covering up for the taco. And it looks like her and Todd Blanche were in a full-scale cover-up for the taco. People, when will they learn? It's the cover-up that'll get your ass in a bind. And is that man really worth it? Because you're going to do time. Because what the Democrats will do is they'll impeach her, and then they'll bring up charges and slow walk it through the courts to where the taco can't pardon her. And you cannot pre-pardon for a crime you haven't been charged with yet. So Blondie Pam Bondi, you protector of pedophiles. Wait a minute, who said, oh, got it. Just thoroughly enjoy that. Callista said she didn't think I had sound, but she found it. What the issue is she said there was nothing else there, no need for any further investigation. It was done. Todd Blanche said there was no need for any further investigation. And yet, in a PowerPoint presentation that was uploaded that they provided to Taco, showing him where his vulnerability was in those files, it was done last spring. There was an interview by a young woman who was, at the time this happened to her, was 13 years old. Wrap your head around that. They interviewed her 4 times. Now, each interview, they should have filled out a form 302. And that's the handwritten form they go through and fill out. And then later, and anybody knows anything about police work, especially if you know a case is going to court, then you sit down with your hand notes on that form and you write out a transcript. That's why a lot of them are even recorded. For some reason, can't find any recordings of this. But they interviewed her and they brought her back 3 additional times, which tells me she had receipts. She had more than just her say-so and confusion. And what the story is, and now confirmed, so I will say it publicly, is that at 13, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell groomed her, and then Jeffrey Epstein raped her. After raping her, he turned her over to Taco, where Taco wanted a 13 to 14-year-old child to perform oral sex on him. When she did not adequately, and he claims bit her, he struck her really hard, and then he raped her. Now, keep in mind, his wife, Ivana, gave a very detailed, horrific account of a rape, but his attorney Cohen made her take a deal and drop the charges because he said, and I quote, "You can't rape your spouse." But we know Taco's capable of it. Ask E. Jean Carroll. He said so himself when he talked about grabbing women. There are over 30 women, grown women, who credibly said he tried to assault them. So there you go. So now, where's the other 302s? What did they contain? So that's a whole damn mess. In addition, James Comer, who has to be the dumbest SOB that ever sat in the Congress, has decided he's going to spar with the Clintons. Now, he set up this deal with Wexner, and we know for a fact Les Wexner financed this whole kit and caboodle with Epstein, because he's trying to convince you that a savvy businessman with a multi-billion-dollar business would hire a man who never finished college, who was not a financial director, who had taught school because he lied about his credentials when they found out later, who had no clients, and turned his billions over to him to run. No, I'll tell you what happened. Old Jeffrey Epstein came to Les and said, "Hey, I've got a deal that'll get you in with foreign countries." And it was a blackmail scheme. And Les Wexner financed the whole honeypot deal. And in the meantime, old Jeffrey got to play with little girls and then farm them out. And then he had blackmail against all of these rich and powerful people. That's exactly what went on. I might be old, but I ain't stupid. Anybody can figure that out. Anyway, James Comer has decided, well, let's go to Republicans' old favorite, Hillary Clinton. Hillary's not mentioned in those. Bill is mentioned, but not in a negative way. Yes, he flew on the jets. He knew him from fundraisers. Bill liked him grown up. But Hillary, wanted to do this publicly. They won't do it publicly. Now, the Republicans wouldn't show up to depose Les Wexner, but all of them are going up to New York to depose Hillary. And I'm thinking, you freaking fools are about to get an education. So that's going on today with the Epstein file. But what they're doing is James Comer has now set a precedent to where Congress can now call in Melania and they can call in Taco, because right there, the dumbasses just opened the door, and they're not going to be in charge next year. This is going to really be a roller coaster. Moving on. So we got all this money sitting there from our tariffs, but do y'all remember we were supposed to get a check back from Doge? So I figured that was worth, what did he say, $1,500 a family? And then by J.B. Pritzker's ciphering, it's $1,700 per family on tariffs. I'd like to have that check. I really would. And I'd like to have that check and not let them tax that check, because they've already taxed the check. That's what the tariffs were. So that will be an interesting play to see how that turns out. Several states have filed. Illinois has filed. Pennsylvania has filed. I think California is about to file, as well as Arizona. So we'll see how those go. We, on the primaries in Texas especially, is having record turnout driven by Democrats. Put up good candidates. You got them awake. Taco's doing what he's doing. The other interesting thing on the Republican side is James Cornyn appears that he's going to get his butt handed back to him. So Cornyn, the incumbent senator, may not even make it through the primary. And it looks like Paxton is going to win that primary down there. And he's just a piece of MAGA garbage. You talk about an extremist. So that's how Texas, and remember, Texas used to be as blue as they come. But Ann Richards was the last Democratic governor, and that was over 30 years ago. But it's there, and young people just aren't looking at this the way that they used to, and they're realizing the government ain't working for them. This hate isn't working for them. And what Taco has done with ICE immigration, and that's a border state, is not what they intended, because a lot of them work with these people every day. This is not what they intended. They just wanted to stop those big streams and being run over. They didn't intend for people to be hurt like this. They're also finding out in these primaries. Okay, Papa just brought me in a sign. They fired all the FBI who went to Mar-a-Lago on the classified documents. Just fired them all. Well, there again, you dumbasses. Now they're free to talk. But yeah, every FBI agent who was part of the Mar-a-Lago. So, Aileen Cannon, I got news for you. The walls are about to cave in on you, because you're going to lose holding that document back, and we're going to find out that Taco will do anything for a buck to enrich his family. And now they fired all them FBI agents. My God, when is the corruption going to stop? And on a day like this, y'all need to be on your 5 calls app. That is outrageous. See, I didn't even have that wrote down. Today, Netflix CEO is coming to the White House. Now, if you'll remember, Taco was trying to blackmail him. He wanted rid of Susan Rice. They said, we're not doing that, because they're trying to do that merger with Warner Brothers and outbid the Ellisons, who now own TikTok and Paramount and CBS. We're supposed to, under, remember when we broke up the baby bells? This came under Roosevelt. We're not supposed to be adding to these conglomerates. We're supposed to bust them up so that no one company has that kind of power. And Taco again, pay to play, pay to play. And the other thing that I think is very newsworthy because of the ramifications, I want you all to pay attention to. There's an AI company now. Number one, I told y'all to watch Wag the Dog. You need to watch Wag the Dog, because we have our entire fleet out there in the Persian Gulf, because he says we're going to attack Iran, and he doesn't exactly know why, but he thinks it's a good idea since the heat's on him. But here's my other question. Does he realize how big Iran is? Somebody needs to get that man a good map. Iran is huge. Iran is 4 times as big as Iraq. And you know what we got into in Iraq. Now, somebody, please get this man a map. But this AI issue has me worried. So now I want you all to watch the first Terminator movie, because it was about what happens to AI and how they had to go back in time. I mean, you really got to watch it to understand this AI issue. Well, what's going on is there's an AI company named Anthropic, and Pete Hegseth is blackmailing this company to have full control. Well, Anthropic is artificial intelligence that will control weapons systems, except they will not allow it to fire if it recognizes humans without another human intervention. That's to prevent slaughter of, innocent people, civilians, and your own troops. Pete Hegseth said if Anthropic doesn't give the military complete access and remove that barrier, that he's going to list them as supply chain risk and completely ruin the company, and then have another company build the platform. Why would you want to remove an AI that will stop and not fire upon human beings without human intervention? Can you imagine the bloodbath and slaughter? This is true. It happened years ago, but when they first started playing around with these robots and recognition, they had a robot in China just start firing away inside of a laboratory because it did not recognize. It was at a range, and it wasn't recognizing the humans as not to shoot, but as targets. It's a real thing. And he's doing all this for Bibi Netanyahu. because Bibi Netanyahu's is in much trouble as Taco is, and they think if they're got a war going on, nobody's going to come after them. Remember, wag the dog. So there you go. So that's what I had for my top stories of the day. I'll let you go on about your day. But it just never stops with that man. It never stops with that man. I hope you all enjoyed my funny drop yesterday after watching the State of the Union, which I did not watch. I watched the recaps. And thank you all for joining me yesterday for my late conniption. So stay tuned. I will not be on tomorrow. Remember, I don't do Friday and Saturday, but join me Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for coffee with Mamaw. I love y'all. Bye-bye.